Doc, the D.O.C, talked me into getting on the mic and doing this.
Just like Dr. Dre and D.O.C and then put the foundation down for me.
Doc was ahead of his time.
Honor the D.O.C.
No,
for his
for
contribution
real.
to hip-hop.
This is how you write the songs, the 16 bar, all that. We learned all what we learned from Doc.
The originator of style to me, that's D.O.C.
Shout out to the D.O.C.
Doc.
Man.
What was that right there?
Never a segment is negative because I'm employing what you've been missing.
Please welcome your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, one of the best writers in the game, the D.O.C, a legend.
Hey, thank you very much, Tom. Thank you.
Man, thanks for coming on. I wanted to start. You're from Dallas, Texas, and you'd obviously be a Cowboys fan.
Now you're talking. See, that's why I came on right there. That was the reason, because I felt that confidence coming out of your page.
Yes. When I was a teenager, I had the Dallas Cowboys hat and everything. I used to love playing Madden, and that was my thing. That's awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. And, how old were you when you first got into music?
My father used to sing around the house when I was a kid, and I always fancied his gift. And so I've always been connected to music through him. But I can remember being 7 years old with an 8-track, a little blue square 8-track player in my room. I've always been a music guy.
Do you remember the first song you ever put together when that got on air?
My first song was a song that got on air. It was called I Hate to Go to Work.
Yeah.
I Hate to Go to Work was the I Hate to Go to Work was the first song I ever made. And I made it with a guy that was a DJ named N.W.A in his garage. And he was on the radio. So he just played it on the radio. And then the guy that ran the morning show heard it, and he started playing it every morning. I hate to go to work. I hate to go to work. I hate to go to work. It became like a thing in my city.
What was the feeling like when you first heard your song on the radio?
I mean, it was cool. You felt like you felt good. Like it's possible. What all of those other guys were doing, maybe I could do.
That's cool. And that just started off with the Feel Fresh crew?
Yeah, Feel Fresh crew.
Yeah, I was listening to some of those songs as well. That was cool. I love, the funky stuff and all that kind of music as well.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the beginning times of a very interesting journey.
The Doc T.
Yeah. Yeah,
man. I was listening to that, Drink It Up, the Philly crew, Doc T. And then from there, obviously, you progressed to, messing with N.W.A. How did that come about, you meeting those guys?
The DJ that I spoke to you about earlier, he was friends with those guys when he was from LA. And he came to Dallas and got on the radio. And so when he got on the radio here, he knew those guys and he started playing their stuff down here. He made them real popular on the streets down here. And when they came to do shows, that's how I met Dre and Easy and Rain and Yella. I didn't meet Cube until I got to California, maybe a year or so later.
Were they already a group as before you met them, those guys?
Yeah. They had already come together and made a couple of songs that were really good. And then some of them were really bad, and they had a hard time getting their brand of music on the radio. And so I think that's where I came in, handy to be able to help those guys write records that were still street enough to be considered street records, but interesting and clean and funny and entertaining enough to be good radio records.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that you had a huge hand in writing a lot of the music as well, a lot of songs. But what's your writing process? Do you just go in on the spot with the beat, or you can just write whatever?
Yeah, I don't have a particular kind of thing that I do. It all depends on where I am and in the moment. If I get a beat that's the shit, then I can write to the beat. But sometimes I just get a great idea and just write, and then the beat will find me one day. And here recently, I wrote one of my first like gospel sort of songs to a beat that I don't think is gonna work, but I got the song. So one day I'm gonna hear a beat and say that song fits that.
Yeah.
So it's all kinds of ways.
Wow, I love that. With beats, I want to ask you who would be your top producers or that you look up to?
Well, see, I'm a Dr. Dre protege, so man, it's difficult for me to find guys that move me. But there's the top guys, the Pharrells and the Timberlands and the P Rocks, and the premieres. There's a guy down here in Dallas, Fort Worth. His name is Erotic D. He did the Helter Skelter album, but Dr. Dre being such a high fucking bar,
Yeah.
it's difficult to find. But I did it recently. I did a song with a punk band called the Co-Defendants, and they're produced by a guy named Fat Mike, who's in a band called NoFX. And Fat Mike and Dr. Dre and all of those producers that I mentioned, they all have similar ways that they construct their stuff, where it's really simple and it's really cool. And the sound is really great. Even though they're all different producers, they have the same elements in all of their work. So, top guy, and I was telling a young producer this the other day, the top guys all use basically the same formula. There's just different personalities in their shit. And I think that probably holds true for most rappers that are really good. They all adhere to a certain formula when they're doing it. It's just personalities after that.
Yeah, I love how you explain that too. I'd love to be in a room with, just watching some of these guys work and yourself, like how it all comes together, a full song. That'd be, magic happening. It's crazy how, so many people are impacted by it as well.
Yeah, it's a blessing, and I'm thankful and grateful for it. I enjoy it. I like writing. That's what I do. And I just like the way this shit comes together, and you don't know. You start here, but you never know where it's gonna go. You might start writing and then write a whole verse, and that first verse you wrote ends up being the actual third verse to the song you're gonna create, because you get better. As you write, your thoughts become more clear, and for me anyway, it works like that a lot. You start writing, and the more you write, the clearer the vision gets, and it's easier to be precise with what you're trying to do, line by line. And the first thing that you came up with ends up being a great way to go out instead of a great way to come in.
That's incredible. That's bringing me to my next question. What advice would you give to someone, starting out, whether it be writing or, rapping, whatever they want to choose? What advice would you give?
Well, I'm a spiritual guy. And so for me, it's all a God thing. And it doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is. It's all a God thing. And if you love to do it, then you should do it. And if it's meant for you, it's going to come to you. There's nothing anybody can do to keep it from you. And there's nothing anybody can do to make it happen for you. It's only one person making all of that stuff work through these people. You know what I mean? So you just stay true to yourself and do what you do, and enjoy it.
I really believe that as well. I think that's a great message. I think, yeah, if you focus on it and God helps, yeah, that's definitely. I did an interview with Supreme Shakur, and then I was
Oh,
so excited.
really?
Yeah, and I seen the song you guys did with Bishop Lamont and Be Real, Sick Jack, and that was awesome, man. How did that come about?
That was Bishop put that together. It's his stuff, and he just asked if I would do it. And then these young guys are friends of mine. They people that I want to see succeed and I care about. And so even if I don't feel really good about doing it, they want me to do it so bad, I'll just do it. To make sure that they get what they want.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, you're just an awesome human being. And every time I'm, doing another interview or looking up music, rappers, everyone's got one thing in common is how much respect they got for you. Like the D.O.C pops up everywhere. How does that feel?
So I just did 2 days ago. I just flew to Miami and did a podcast called The Drink Champs.
Yes.
And DJ EFN and Noriega. And I had no idea the love and respect that these guys had like that because I don't get out much and unless I'm with Dre and those other guys, I'm not involved in anything. And if I'm with Dre and Snoopy or that team, then usually it's all about them. And I'm the support guy. So the way that those guys treated me um, was was insane. I was really fucking humbled by it. And Noriega got a chance to see my film before I sat down and talked to him. And that shit moved his spirit. I mean, he went on and he was talking about that shit for a fucking hour. He was just like, and so it's because there are things in the film that nobody knows. And even though you think you've seen the story, you haven't, you know. Uh, Even though you've seen Straight Outta Compton, you've seen Defiant Ones, you've seen all of these
Yeah.
bits and pieces, you don't know. And so when you see the journey that guy went through, you're like, wow, this motherfucker's is. Nori said, man, you're a fucking superhero. And I was like, wow, bro, like, thank you. And so um, the fact that it seems like it's my turn is coming back around to get out there and do some stuff and try to make a difference in this world, either with my music or some activism or just giving back to my community in the best way that I can. I'm starting to figure out that people got a lot of love for D.O.C.
Yeah, man, definitely. Everywhere I look, it's D.O.C. I seen Eminem too. I read that he gets nervous being around you. There's people I sort of grew up listening to, and like yourself, and just seeing everyone has that same opinion. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for him. I
Yeah,
have a lot of respect for him because not just because he's a supremely talented MC and a GOAT in this field, but he's a good guy. And the Marshall Mathers that I know and that I had time to be around and vibe with and soak up his energy is that he's a good guy. And folks love to bring up all kinds of past stuff and question this and question that. And, who among us can have a past that we are not 1,000% happy about? But the man the guy that I know is a great guy, and I can hear myself in his material. You know, I can hear my cadences, or the thought process, or hip hop. Period. In him stuff. There's a dude named Master Ace from the East Coast. I think he's a Philly guy. And there are old underground tapes of Master Ace that if you played it, you would think it was him.
Wow.
And this is before him was even a thought. The guy, it was the same kind of everything, And so him is a student of hip hop, and I can't help but respect that.
Yeah, I love that. And yes, it's incredible. I've been how much love everyone's got. I've been researching, yeah, and I've always listened to music anyway because I'm a big fan. But the more I find out about you, the more incredible it just keeps getting better. I love everything you've done.
Hey, they say no one can do it better.
Yeah,
That's what they.
yes, that's that was. Uh, I've seen you work with all the greats, and I'd consider you one of the greatest of all time as well. So it's crazy that I'm even talking to you. And another thing I wanted to always ask everyone. Obviously you're such a brilliant writer. What's your favorite books that you've read that have had an impact on you?
Man, I read all types of stuff. I don't have a favorite. I'm a very eclectic reader, and uh, whether it's conspiracy sort of stuff, or uh, um, the history of the indigenous people from the Americas, or um, the history of the history that they tell, and then the history that they don't tell. I just try to, I try to stay versed on a lot of different things, but I don't have a particular thing.
Yeah, yeah, because I always wondered, someone like yourself, even like you write music. I was like, man, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. But yeah, like
But
Jay said, like my homie D.O.C, no one can do it better. Yes. I want to ask, what's the next 12 months like for you? Have you got any projects coming or working on that you can talk about?
man, there's so much going on right now, bro. It's difficult for me to encapsulate it in one thing. You know, I'm gonna get this film out, and when this film gets released, it's gonna be a whole another, because it's so good. If if they thought they liked me before the film, you know what I mean? Uh, it's gonna be a whole new fucking ball game, and I've gotten calls from people from Europe who know it's coming out, who want me to come over and tour with it in Europe. And so, man, I don't know, but there's new music. Like I said, I was writing this gospel thing. I'm trying to figure out how to make an N.W.A gospel record. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that ticket out. And uh, there's some things I'm trying to put in the air with Snoop and Q that I could do around the country, to go in these communities and create commerce and make changes, and be the change that we want to see, and inspire our own neighborhoods, and inspire our own people to pick up this idea, and really put some effort into making our communities what we want them to be, and not waiting on anybody else to do it. My daughter Puma has started writing And she played something for me the other day that put a real smile on my face. She's beginning to sprout as a great writer. I could hear myself in it. I could hear her mother in it, you know. And so being here to watch her get into her thing is important to me. And like I said, the activism element and trying to make happen in Dallas, Fort Worth, what I helped to happen in Los Angeles and Long Beach, and trying to make that happen here in Dallas, Fort Worth, because they never got their chance. They never got theirs yet. And so it's really important for me to to sort of, if I can, open those lanes for these young guys and girls to get in here and get some of this money.
I love that. Thinking of other people and never forget where you came from. And if anyone can pull it off, it's people like you who have that impact on everyone that people look up to. That's yeah, what a
I
mission.
agree. I agree. It is yeah, that's my mission, bro. And
That's
as I look back at my life, that's really been what I've been doing the whole time, you know, is trying to help other motherfuckers win. And through that, I win.
I'm so excited to hear about like an N.W.A gospel twist. Yeah, that'd be gold right
Yes,
there.
it's look, if you want to talk about a challenge, that's a challenge. But I'm
Yes.
close, but I'm close because if you take the information, there are stories and anecdotes and things in the Bible that you can relate to yourself, your everyday life. Those patriarchs are no different than us. And so if you take, and I use Samson a lot, if you take Samson before Samson was born, first of all, they wasn't even supposed to have kids. You know what I'm saying? And the angel came to him and said, look, you finna have this dude, and he finna be a bad boy. He finna come down here and wreck shit. And that's what he did. He didn't come down here. Samson didn't come do no preaching. He didn't do no Saul showing. He did two things. He whooped a whole lot of butt, and he liked the ladies. That was it. That's what Samson did. And so, how is that any different than these young boys that are in the street right now?
Yeah.
No different. The only difference is Samson knew where his power came from. They don't know. And so, if I could help them figure out where their power come from, then maybe they'll return to it the same way Samson did.
Wow. That's incredible. Imagine me, yeah, just being mentored by the D.O.C. That's
Uh,
yeah, that's legendary right there. I love those how you made that, parables of Samson and
oh yeah, he was amazing. He
yeah.
whooped he whooped the hell out of a lion and whooped the hell out of a bunch of boys on me with a jawbone of a donkey. Like, you know, he's a fighter. He's a scrapper. How is that any different from these young boys out here? That's all they seem like they want. But they're doing it for no reason. They're doing it for ignorant things and for ego and for, what they perceive is some sort of leg up or accolade when really they're just making things harder for themselves and everybody else that are around them that they care about. And so it's just about getting them the right information.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any, I guess, young artists that you see now that I guess remind you of yourself and that you see coming up and you're going, wow, this guy's got it, or these guys are going to be great.
No, I mean, I hear a lot of dope kids, some dope, some not dope, you know, some cool. Um, in today's hip hop, there's so much similarity in the cadence that trying to differentiate yourself one from the other is difficult. But the spirit is what shines through for me when it comes to determining what's good and what's not. So it's some young folks out there that are doing the raps like the kids doing today, but they are gospel kind of based. And even though they're gospel based, it still sounds dirty, kind of, which is what I'm into. I think that's the future of hip hop. I think that's the bridge hip hop uses to find its way back home to that point in time when we were all different and we were all striving to be the best we could be at what we were doing. And it was all about the music, and it was all about progressiveness and progression and elevation. You know, those, the four keys, the four corners of hip hop: peace, unity, love, and having fun. I think it is when those elements were the things that pushed everybody, and it was a positive thing. Now, N.W.A, Easy E specifically, I think, was the prototype of all of the rap that you hear today.
Yep.
The young dope boy that don't give a damn about nothing or nobody,
Yeah.
and will do anything to get it, you know. And that's not a negative against what we did or Eric as a person. That is the machine at work. They're only going to give you what they want to see, because I think they are aware that if you shove that down folks' throats enough, then you're going to get that back. In other words, you build a pipeline to prison if you foster that attitude enough amongst those young folks without any kind of equal or opposite.
It's crazy what some of these big corporations choose to market and push which part as well. Like you're saying, you know, that's what they're selling. The pipeline to prison, I think you said, is exactly what you see. But
Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's hard because you know, Hollywood and the music industry and all of that stuff, they're powerful people. And, you know, folks are just trying to make a living out here and be creators and do what they do. Now we're in a great space because I think a lot of the power is coming back to the creator these days.
Yeah.
Because there's so many avenues. But still, you know, old habits die hard.
yeah,
And folks that are trapped up in that machine would much rather win at your expense than have to work hard and get it on their own. You know, unfortunately, folks will sell you out and sell you short to try to make themselves bigger or better. Uh, you know, but like I said, it's a God thing. They can't. If it's meant for you, it's coming. If it's not meant for you, it's not coming. But being aware enough to be able to see these things, and as you create your own lane so that you can make your money and feed your family, to be aware enough to see these people and recognize them, it's going to be better for you in the long run, whoever you may be working in this industry, because it is a lot of cutthroat people out there.
yeah, definitely. It's crazy. It's hard work. You got to find the good ones, I think. Someone said to me, and stick with them. Find out the great people who's genuine and, you know, has got love for you.
Yeah.
You've been part of Ruthless, Death Row, and your legacy just keeps growing now. Even you, I'm so excited now thinking about the gospel stuff you're working on. That's what I want to see.
Me too. I
Yeah.
went in and started working on a song yesterday. And as I was working on it, some of the stuff that I say I have to take time to figure out another way to say it because it's a little too biting, like but it's interesting, man, because it's the attitude that I'm using to deliver, and then the verbiage. If you get it, if I could pick that lock, I think it's gonna be something really cool. And
Definitely.
I am gonna pick that lock, man. I'm gonna figure that bad boy out. I am, because that's where I'm going. The movie, my activism work, my life as a man in America, as a father and a husband. I'm 55 years old. I don't have to kiss nobody's ass, and I don't have anything like my contemporaries have, but I have my self-respect and my integrity is in place, and I just made it back mentally from a hell of a journey. Dealing with the depression and the alcohol and the drugs and all of that stuff that comes along with it. For a guy that I was not born into that. I'm not a thug guy per se. I don't, I don't want to sell nothing illicit. I don't want to shoot up nobody's shit. I don't want to beat up I'm one of the guys that want everybody to have. I think it's enough. I think it's enough for everybody. Tell me, what need do you have for security for your stuff if everybody's got the same? And maybe you got a little more, but if everybody's happy, if everybody's full, if everybody got something to eat, if everybody's got, you know, things that they can survive, why would you need to be worried somebody's going to take yours? It's only the folks that have stuff that seem like they fighting so hard for the other guy not to have anything, to feel like they need all the security to secure all of this shit that they're hoarding, you know, and that's the problem. The problem is greed, you know.
Yes.
What are you going to do with $300 trillion? Besides cause a problem somewhere because somebody trying to either get it or you're trying to use it to feel like you're the king, you're the god of the world now. Money is, they say it's the root of all evil, but it's the love of it. That's the root. What the fuck are you gonna do with $1 trillion, man? Nothing. You can't live long enough to spend that shit. You have to be a complete asshole to try to spend $1 billion doing some goofy shit that you like doing, right?
Yeah.
With all the people going through stuff in the world, with all of those folks over there overseas that are getting kicked out of their own place and their kids are dying and come on, man, right? The world is a pretty fucked up space, there's a lot of beautiful people, but we have to, the tribe that I want to be connected with is the tribe that gives a fuck about other people too. It's not just about you and what you got and that small circle of people that hang around you and kiss your ass or whatever they do for you. But, try to make a way so everybody can have enough to be happy, especially America as a country. You do all of that shit talking about your armed forces. And if I drove around downtown, there's people that served for you that are out there homeless, don't have no food, but you sending zillions of dollars everywhere else in the world, talking all that shit when your people are out there starving. It makes no sense to me, but there are smarter people in this world than I am.
Yeah, I hate to see that, especially people who serve their country as they help. It seems like they help the wrong people.
Yeah, bro, there's no way those folks that went and lived, that took a chance on losing their lives for your ideals to be in that position.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's got to be a better way.
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's all a God thing, and I think all of those greedy ass, corporate minded human beings are, their time is limited. I think they are in judgment right now.
Yeah.
And that's why things are moving back towards the power is moving back towards the creator. I mean, the creators of the art, because it's our turn now. You people can't make money without us. I think more of us are beginning to see that, and more avenues or platforms are being created to serve us instead of serving the corporate dollar.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. It seems to, yeah, people getting more opportunities as well as that's what we need in the world, I think.
What is it? What accent is that? Are you Australian?
Yeah, Australian.
Okay.
It's,
No, I've been to Australia plenty of times. It's a beautiful place.
yeah, it's amazing. It's cool to see you've been over here a few times. Is different places all the time?
Yeah, I went all over that joint, Perth and Sydney and Brisbane. I was all over. It's a different party in every city.
Yeah. Were you in Perth? Was it last year? Did you go?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was last year, but I really like it there. I didn't get a chance to go into the places where I could meet
Yeah.
the indigenous people of that land. I didn't get a chance to do that, but next time I come, I'm gonna make it a point to do that, and then I'm gonna make it a point to pop on over to New Zealand and feel that vibe.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I can connect you with some people there as well, like
Okay.
in Australia, to make that happen for you. Man, I love that. Yeah, I was asking at first because I really, when I was there, I know Snoop Dogg had a concert, but I couldn't go.
Uh,
And yeah, I was walking down the street and I got lost because I'm not from there really. I was there for other reasons. And I seen this little alleyway, and I was like, there's like a door. It didn't look like an entrance, but you could see like a flash car there. And then there's probably like four people outside, and they all had Snoop Dogg records. And I seen him drive out of the back way of this hotel with two cars. Like it was crazy.
that's dope.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, is D.O.C here or not? Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to meet you one day and yeah, see you in action, man.
I'm coming. I'm absolutely. I imagine by the time, maybe this summer, I imagine by the time the film comes out, that I'm probably gonna go all over the place.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. It's amazing now, I was listening to you when I was 12, 13 years old. Now I would have never thought that I would talk to you one day.
Hey, it's a blessing, brother. It is my uh, pleasure to be a part of your program, and you know, I appreciate the love that I get from people, and I try to reciprocate that.
Yeah, definitely. I know your time's limited. Is it all right if I ask you one more question?
Sure.
That you said before, you're in a I guess a dark place before depression, and you just found yourself. How did you climb back out of it and find yourself again?
Well, 2020. Uh, Long story short, I had a revelation, and God came and talked to me, and he said, you know, you can let that pain go. He said, because you didn't do it, I did it. He said, I did it for a reason, and you're about to walk in that purpose. And that was 2020. And I've been on a steady incline ever since then, learning and growing. And I did my movie in that time and started moving things yeah, the way I stopped all the drinking and the drugging. I let all of that shit go within that time period. So, I'm just a vessel so that people can see through my journey what's possible. You know, Noriega said that dude went on and on and on. But he said, my movie should be called Don't Fucking Quit No Matter What. That's what he said, something like that.
Man.
Because you see through the journey how easy it would have been to just give up and come back home and feel bad. And I felt bad, but I couldn't quit. I couldn't go home because I was still good. I didn't have the voice anymore, but I'm still good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still great. I got to figure out how to get this greatness out of me. And I was just blessed to be connected to Dre. And then when Snoop came, I was blessed to be able to live vicariously as an artist through Snoopy.
Man, that's amazing. Just yeah, incredible. I love that. I love that you're doing better now, and that happened because I really believe in it as well. And I recently stopped drinking as well, so it's like I've been feeling better.
Hey man,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's
It's a month. It's a beast.
yeah,
If you let it, it'll just screw you over, man.
yeah.
And so for me, I realize I'm just better without it. And so it took me a long time to get here, but I'm here, and that's all that matters.
Definitely, man. I can't wait to see what you do, like Snoop and Cube. Like you said, you're gonna go around and make impacts in communities. That's incredible. And that's a powerful team there. You three. I really love Ice
Oh
Cube
yeah,
too. He's one of my idols, like that I look up to as well as you and like Eminem and all the all-time greats. Snoop, Dre. Just I appreciate you giving the time to talk to me.
pleasure was all mine, brother. I was actually in my backyard. The weather's good enough in Texas. I can start tending to my lawn, and so I'm weeding and feeding. I gotta dig up my weeds
Yep.
and feed my grass. You
Nice.
know, I'm one of those old school guys. I like to do it myself. I like to
Yeah.
get in the mud.
Yep.
You know, my mom is like that, and I get that from her. I think she's a gardener. She's a gardener person, and one of the things I want to bring to these communities is the idea of learning how to farm for yourself, learning how to fend for yourself, learning how to feed yourself just in case, or creating those avenues or assets within the community that do that
Yes.
for the community. You
Man.
that's important for us as a people because most of the time when you go to the hood, quote unquote, it's a food desert. And the only things that are there are foods that are trying to kill you and liquor stores, you know. And so if I could develop a situation where there are urban farms, little urban farms in the hood, like 7-Elevens, they're everywhere, then you can create a passive way to ensure that we're getting fed properly. And then you come together with the guys in the neighborhood, the good ones and the bad ones, whatever that means, and you figure out that we don't want any more violence over here. We're not going to let anybody do it. I don't care who you are or where you're from. We just don't want it.
Yeah.
Say we because you got to get buy-in from everybody. It's got to be everybody's got to be on the team, and we have to feel like we want our community, wherever that is, north side, east, or west. We want our community to be like this. And this is how we're gonna do it. And I think we can.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just blown away now too. Like he's saying about gardening, and I've started a couple like a Facebook groups called Harvest Swap. I've been trying to do the same thing, like connecting people to garden and grow food and share it with each other.
That's dope. That is, I mean,
Yeah.
well, all people want is they want to eat
Yes.
and sleep.
Yep.
Once you
Man.
you can eat healthy and you don't have to worry about where you're gonna sleep. Like 90% of your worries are taken care of. All that other shit. I want diamonds and I want to rock to this and do to that. Those are things. They come and they go. You know. But if you got a home that's safe in an area that's safe, and you got ample food that you can eat that's good for you and your family, you winning. I don't care what you think that you have or don't have, because the people at the top with all of that money and power, they stumble and fall too. But when they fall, it's a whole lot different from when us at the bottom, when we fall, we just dust ourselves up and get back up and keep walking. When you way up there and you fall, man, that's a different kind of pain, and you don't want that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what's your, I guess, going on, what's your message to the world?
Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl 24-25. That's it. And if it ain't 24-25, it's 25-26. That's it. I said it. Cowboys in the Super Bowl. That is my gift to the internet. You heard it here first. And so you can call me Nostradamus in a year or so.
Yes. You're predicting the future, man. I love it. I'm gonna come over for a Super Bowl one year. That'd be a crazy experience, I think.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I love, and obviously it's a sport, and there's a lot more important shit going on in the world. But I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I've been something that I enjoyed with my father as a young kid, and so I'm gonna be a Dallas Cowboy guy for life. And you were talking about producers earlier. Me and Pete Rock. Pete Rock is a New York Giants guy, and we fight every year on the web about these football games. It's one of the things that I enjoy uh, talking shit to my friends with. Snoopy's a big Pittsburgh Steelers guy. They got Russell Wilson now, so they're going to be competitive this year. It's going to be a good year for football.
That's crazy. I didn't think a Snoop from Pittsburgh. Yes.
He's a Pittsburgh guy. He loves them.
Yep.
And I'm a Cowboy guy. I don't hate him. I just don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. That's on my bucket list to meet you one day. Yeah, incredible. Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you. A lot of the questions I've had is just I didn't even ask. I was blown away by talking to you and your responses, man. It's changing.
It's all good. We got an hour in.
Yeah, man.
So it's all love. We got it out. I appreciate the interest, and I appreciate that you're always engaging in a positive way on that. What is it? Instagram? That's how we.
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, I appreciate the positive interaction, bro. I'm one of those kind of guys. So blessings to you. Man. Good luck on your programming. And when I get to Australia, look me up.
Definitely, man. Bless you too. And thanks again. It's the D.O.C on Thomas Berryman TV. No one can do it better.
Blessing, my friend. God bless.
Bless you, man. I'll talk to you. Catch you.
Peace.
Peace.